of the incoming freshmen. Of course, we've got all these transfers who came in and played one season, and quite a bit of contribution here. Certainly, I'll run through all of them, and you can pick and choose as you will. But Michael Turk, the punter, Kavontre Bradford at running back, Wanye Morris at offensive tackle from Tennessee, of course, and another Tennessee player in Eric Gray, who was substantial. Key Lawrence at safety, Michael Woods at wide receiver, Josh Plaster, punter, Robert Congle at guard, and Michael Bowens at dual threat quarterback.
Yeah, so when you look at so Kavontre Bradford is the guy who's no longer with the team. He went back to LSU before the season even started last year. Then when you look at Michael Woods, he was the transfer from Arkansas, and he was actually drafted this year. So those are two of the I think 7 there that you'd mentioned, or maybe 9. I'm sorry, no 9. 2 of the 9 that you'd mentioned that are no longer with the team. I think Michael. I think when you look at Michael Turk, one of the best punters in the country, actually flirted with the idea of going out early, elected to come back. So he's a guy that will be, still one of the best. I think one of the best, averaged nearly 50 yards per kick last year. Again, same thing. And then when you look at another guy, what's interesting, Josh Plasner, same position. He's a senior, came in from Arizona State, has been in Oklahoma for the last couple of years as well. Interesting understanding that he's still within the program. Wouldn't have been surprised at all to see him move on. But he may have an opportunity from that COVID year to play, to be there next year. But I think in terms of some of the guys that you'd mentioned there, Mark, obviously Eric Gray was a big part of that last year's team as well. Will be another big part of this team on the Oklahoma on this Oklahoma team at the running back position. Key Lawrence started to he again was a little bit of a victim of a guy that was moved around a lot, played a little strong safety, played a little nickel, played a little corner. Really played better towards the end of the year, specifically, as they had to move him into the corner, in the corner position. And then when you look at Wanye Morris, he's another guy that a lot of people thought that he would be kind of an instant starter, an instant impact player at the tackle position, but really didn't do a great job of taking care of his body. Has done a tremendous job. Everything that I've heard early on, played really well in the spring game. He's a guy that I think that we'll see as a starter, at the tackle position for Oklahoma. And then Robert, the other one that I could comment on is Robert Congle. He's a guy that came over from Arizona, played a lot last year, whether it be at the center position, as kind of a spot, or kind of started for Andrew Rain from time to time. And then, but he's a guy that will be in the rotation at the center position. Really kind of was unfortunate for Rain, didn't have the opportunity to play. Really didn't have the opportunity to play a whole lot in the spring, so Congle got a lot of playing time as well. So he'll be in that rotation as well, and give Oklahoma some depth there at the center positions. And he's maybe doesn't necessarily have the same amount of athleticism as Andrew Rain, but is probably a little bit more. I think understands the position maybe a little bit better than what Rain does at this point.